Police found only one thing deep in those woods: an owl mask, and wrapped inside it, a butcher knife. The man who left it behind was never found. This is not fiction. These are 4 real stories from real summer camps. And by the end, you'll understand why none of these camps ever told the public the truth. Story 1. I spent my summers as a camp counselor in my early 20s. I got into a lot of trouble growing up because I never had positive role models. So being out in nature and being that role model for kids became one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. But not every summer was pleasant. This happened in the summer of 2019. I had already worked at this camp for 5 years. Each counselor was responsible for a group of kids, almost like a teacher with a classroom. This camp wasn't like the ones you see in movies. No giant barracks-style bunks. It was built like a house. You'd walk in through a common area with a TV, a wraparound couch, a small kitchenette, and a hallway leading to 3 bedrooms with 4 beds each. My room was on the other side of the common area. It was designed to give teens a preview of dorm life before college. One morning, a camper told me he kept hearing footsteps at night, and it was keeping him awake. 2 nights in a row. I told him it was probably another camper and not to worry. That night, I reminded all the kids that lights out meant staying in bed. Right before 1 a.m., I heard screaming. I ran to their room, turned on the light, and 4 teenagers looked like they'd seen a ghost, one of them in tears. They said a tall figure had been standing by the closet door, breathing heavily. One of them got up to confront it, and the figure ran out and slammed the door behind it. I searched the whole house. Nothing. No broken locks, no mud, no tracks. I sat in the common room afterward, half reading, half waiting to catch whoever was pulling this prank. I started to doze off when I heard the wood floor creak down the hallway. Footsteps. Real ones. I got up quietly, expecting to catch a camper red-handed. Instead, standing in front of an open window was a tall, dark silhouette, hand on the same doorknob from earlier. It turned to face me. Its head nearly touched the top of the doorframe. It wasn't a kid. It stood there for what felt like forever, breathing heavily, and then stepped out the window and disappeared into the dark. I called the camp director immediately, and police were called. Other counselors searched the woods and found nothing. The description we gave police was too vague to act on. A tall shadow isn't something they can work with. We hired off-duty cops as security and checked every window in the building. Almost every single one was unlocked. We still don't know what it was, where it came from, or why it only went after that one room. That's the part that stays with me. Story 2. In high school, my parents forced me into a religious summer camp. I hated the outdoors, but I was 15 and the camp was co-ed. So naturally, I spent most of my energy trying to impress a girl named Jenny. She loved ghost stories around the campfire, something I didn't expect a religious camp to allow. One night, a counselor told us about an abandoned cabin a short walk from ours. Some horrific, unspecified accident had happened there decades ago, and one camper supposedly vanished and was never seen again. He screamed at the end to scare us, which worked on half the group. Jenny stayed behind and asked if it was true. The counselor said it was just an urban legend used to scare older kids. Later that night, a group of us snuck out to play Truth or Dare by the water. 8 of us. When it was my turn, I chose Dare, mostly to impress Jenny, and got dared to spend 10 minutes alone inside that abandoned cabin. The door was unlocked. I walked in like I owned the place. It was dark, musty, colder than it should have been. I heard wood creaking behind me like footsteps, but no one was there. 2 minutes had passed, though it felt like 20. I leaned against a support beam, and the creaking started again, faster, like running, then stopped instantly. I went to the window to signal my friends. They weren't where they said they'd be. I tried to leave. The door wouldn't open. No lock, just stuck, or something holding it. The footsteps got louder, surrounding me. I felt something behind me. I never turned around, but I felt breath on my shoulder. Jenny was outside trying to open the door too, and couldn't. I gave up, sat against the door, and it suddenly opened. 2 camp counselors were standing there, not pleased. I got put in isolation for the night and expelled from camp the next morning for breaking curfew and sneaking into a restricted building. The camp director told me the story wasn't true and that it just wasn't supposed to be told to campers. I've looked for information about that cabin for years. Nothing. The camp closed a long time ago. I don't scare easily, and that's the only time in my life I felt real fear. Story 3. My family has run a summer camp for over 40 years. I run daily operations now. Between our 3 12-day sessions, staff get 2 days off, except me. I stay behind to prep the camp for the next group. One year, a girl told me after breakfast she was relieved to be going home because she hadn't slept in 2 nights. She said an owl man kept tapping on her window at night, asking to be let in because it was cold. She told him no, and he made a sad sound and ran into the woods. She didn't seem scared, just tired. I brushed it off. That night, alone on the grounds doing paperwork, I kept hearing strange noises outside. Then the motion sensor floodlight suddenly triggered, the kind that only activates for something large. Then scratching at the front door, I shouted. It stopped. Then footsteps on the stairs leading away. I checked the window and the porch light. Nothing there. Hours later, a crash from the back of the house woke me, tapping on the glass sliding door. I pulled back the curtain and there he was, a man in a full white owl mask, tapping like he was waving. He asked me to open the door so he could show me what was in his bag. I couldn't move. When I finally grabbed my phone to call 911, he warned me that calling police would make him very angry. I called anyway. He ran into the forest and vanished. Police searched for hours and found nothing, except the owl mask hanging from a tree branch, and underneath it, a backpack with a pink t-shirt reading Vermont in cursive, and wrapped inside that shirt, a large butcher knife. Our camp is nowhere near Vermont. They never identified who he was or what he wanted. We canceled the next session and quietly kept the real reason out of the press. We still run the camp today, with security guards now, and I still hope every night that he never comes back. 3 camps, 3 different summers, 3 unexplained figures in the dark, and in every single one, we're left with the same conclusion. We never got any answers. If you've ever worked at a summer camp or heard a story like this from someone who has, tell me in the comments. I want to hear it.